Welcome to the 18th study in the Gospel of Luke, an investigation into the life, work, teaching, and claims of Jesus of Nazareth. I started this week's sermon by talking about the fall. We are going to kick off a series called 7, which is an investigation into the 7 deadly sins. We are looking at these as a pathway to actually get better. We're trying to overcome the roadblocks of life, the most common vices that point us in the wrong direction. I talked a little bit about how this list came together through history. It is not a list of sins found in the Bible. It is actually something that was developed by the church out of counseling and pastoral care to help people move forward. And I made some comments about the fact that some of the sins on this list are a little surprising. They're actually cardinal vices more than they are sins. But I said, this is going to be a big series. We are going to use sermons and readings and small group discussions and videos and daily devotions. We're putting everything together. And I'm reminding you about this now because we want you to be thinking now about how you're going to expand the circle, how you're going to start your own small group for this series, how you're going to invite family, friends, neighbors, and others to take a next step. And all of that will kick off in the fall, early in September. All of this comes about because of the passage we looked at today in Luke chapter 4, the temptation of Jesus, where he goes into the desert for 40 days to do hand-to-hand combat against Satan. The 40 is significant because Moses and Elijah fasted for 40 days, and Israel is in the same desert for 40 years. This battle is clearly sort of a take two on the battle we see in Genesis 3. But whereas Adam had friends in the garden paradise, he had everything he needed and he failed, Jesus is by himself in a barren wilderness, suffering deprivation after a 40-day fast, and yet he succeeds. And the whole point of this passage, once again, is that there's nobody like Jesus. He's better than me. He's better than you. He's better than anyone else. He is the hope of the world. He is the one you should follow. He is the one we should worship. So this passage set up around that. I mentioned that you've got to stay out of the little theological cul-de-sac in James 1:13 that suggests that maybe Jesus couldn't have actually been tempted. And I said he was. These temptations were real. He experienced them as man, not as God. And they were every bit as crushing as any temptation we'd faced. And then I said, from this temptation, we pick up a few points. One, temptation is not sin. Right? Some of the things we're tempted by are actually good things. They just get misused. Secondly, there is an enemy. We face forces, spiritual forces of darkness that we do battle against. Third, Jesus understands. We have a high priest who's been through everything that we've been through. And then finally, we need the same tools that Jesus used to succeed, and that principally is to memorize Scripture and store it in our heart and to use it in that battle. So get excited about the fall and take some marching orders from Jesus and his successful triumph over temptation. Soldier on to be more like Christ. Have a great study.